Damn, I really hate to say it, but Billy Joe Saunders is the WBO champion of the world. He's a boxing champion. The other best in the division are Canelo Alvarez, who's the WBC, and Gennady Golovkin, who's the WBA Super World and the IBF champion. Billy Joe Saunders will not fight Gennady Golovkin. He does not want to fight Golovkin, and it's a shame because I've been covering Billy Joe Saunders for the last 2-3 years or so, and knowing him and his demeanor and watching him over the years, he's openly said that he wasn't ready for Golovkin. He's been saying it for the last year. And now he's using what I consider a common ducking move is when you overprice yourself. Now, the word on the curb is they offered this man $3.2 million. Now, I'm thinking to myself, how are they going to pay him $3.2 million, to fight Golovkin? And Golovkin himself has not made any more than $1.52 million himself. So what is Golovkin going to make? Is he going to make $3 million too? Is this going to be a $6 million fight, $6 million plus dollar fight? I don't get it. Now, when it comes to the money, they're not paying for the services. Or that if it is true that he was offered $3.2 million, they're not paying for Billy Joe Saunders. They're paying for a shot at the title. They're paying for that belt. Golovkin wants to be the undisputed champion of the world. He already has 2 of the major belts. Canelo, who is the WBC, has to fight him sometime within the next year, even though then I still doubt the WBC will strip him. But here's the crazy thing. You got the IBF, who forces their mandatories. If you don't fight if you don't fight your mandatory, the IBF will strip you. The mandatory for Golovkin is Tureano Johnson. Tureano Johnson used to be the WBC mandatory, but then he fought in an IBF eliminator. Now he's the IBF mandatory for Golovkin. Now, the IBF has already started trickling news out there that if the Billy Joe Saunders fight doesn't go through, they're going to order, or if it doesn't go through soon, they're going to order Golovkin versus Tureano Johnson. Golovkin is supposed to be returning in April of this year in Madison Square Garden, like April the 23rd, the week after Pacquiao fight or something like that. So the issue I have is I feel in my heart that Billy Joe Saunders, no matter how much money they give him, and Frank Warren, they do not want him to fight Gennady Golovkin right now. Now, when it comes to the WBO, you have to fight somebody in their top 15 because they will strip you too. The next in line for the WBO title at 160 is Arif Magomedov. Now, that's a long story. I'm not going to go too far into the politics, but I'm trying to think to myself, if it is true, now they said they made a very big offer to Billy Joe Saunders. I'm thinking maybe $2 million, but if it's $3.2 million, whatever the case may be, we know they're not paying for Billy Joe Saunders. They're paying for that belt. But I'm thinking if it is true, where else can Billy Joe Saunders, honestly, fights that can be made? Where can he make that much money? Even if he does fight Chris Eubank Jr., which he is saying, he can make that money fight. I don't think he can make that much money fighting Chris Eubank Jr. And don't get me wrong, I was rooting for him to win that fight, but he barely won that fight. He barely won that fight. I mean, not barely, but put it this way, he won convincingly in my eyes, but it was a tough fight for him. So I'm thinking, who else can he fight to make $1 million, $1.2, $1.3 million, $1.5 million? He's saying he can fight other people. And I'm thinking when it comes to the WBO, and I'm looking at the WBO rankings right now at 160 pounds, who is he going to fight unless Al Haymon wants to try to get his hands on that belt? And maybe is Antoine Douglas an Al Haymon fighter? And I'm thinking, and I'm looking at the WBO rankings, and it's like, there's nobody that the WBO will allow you to fight when you can make that money. So it's like, well, really, who would he fight? Come on, Andy Lee rematch? Ain't no money in that. So, right now it's just looking like, I hate to say it, but it's looking like he's ducking him. He's ducking Golovkin. It's like, just like you're a champion. I can understand if you don't want to fight in the United States. I'm pretty sure Golovkin will fight, you somewhere, whatever the case may be. But come on, when are you going to make that money? What is Frank Warren telling you? It is what it is. It's a shame because now it's looking like we're not going to see Golovkin versus Canelo until really like May 2017 because too much money is being thrown out there for Golovkin to accomplish his goals. Now I'm thinking of this, right? They pay, let's say if it's true that they pay Billy Joe Saunders $3.2 million. And then they say we want Canelo in September. They would have to pay Toriano Johnson some step aside money, maybe anywhere between $200,000 to maybe $800,000 or whatever the case may be to get Toriano Johnson a step aside so the IBF won't strip him. Because remember, Golovkin wants to be the undisputed champion. So to fight Canelo in September, you know how much money would, it's just, the whole situation is a mess. The whole situation is a mess. Golovkin and Canelo should have fought next. They should have fought next. But no, it's looking even harder and harder for Golovkin to get his hands on all those belts. Because I knew that once Billy Joe Saunders, or if Billy Joe Saunders had beat Andy Lee, which he did, that Billy Joe Saunders wouldn't fight Golovkin right away. I'm not saying he won't ever fight Golovkin, but I knew it wasn't going to be his next fight. No, especially with the British invasion. That's not how that working. They're getting that belt and they're holding on to it over there. They're putting on domestic clashes. But anyway, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. The whole situation is a mess. It doesn't make sense to me. But the only thing that does make sense to me is that Billy Joe Saunders just does not, there's no better way to put it. He just does not want to fight Golovkin. Come on, he's pricing him. Come on. Like, it's plain as day. He just doesn't want to fight. It is what it is. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. I'm going to start saying every fight live soon. Please subscribe.